I'm Andy Schmuckler. I'm a man on a mission to convey a better human story that I actually think could have a beneficial impact on the human world. Well, one of the areas that I've been working on, thinking about in recent years, has to do with our inborn experiential tendencies. It seems quite clear that uh, we're not born a completely blank slate. I mean, we have a variety of things that are in us that we share with the rest of humanity. If not every single one, then at least widespread enough that you got to say it's part of the human genome. And I believe that paying attention to these experiential tendencies tells us a lot that's really important for making the secular worldview more complete in some essential ways. And my secular worldview, what I've got in mind is my impression anyway, and it certainly applies to me, that one of the major transitions in our cultural history is that we went from a world in which the overwhelming majority of people got a lot of their answers from received tradition and sacred texts and stuff like that, to a world in which people don't get that kind of thing handed to them in the form of authoritative truth. We got to, the way I was brought up in my secular worldview, I want to pay attention to the evidence. I want to see things clearly, and I want to figure them out by applying reason to evidence. And it's been my full-time work, I guess. I was brought up in that culture, and I think it characterizes, basically a whole lot of America, especially a whole lot of liberal America. Received authority replaced by the conclusions a person draws. Some people work very hard at drawing their conclusions. Some people not so hard and come to all kinds of conclusions without knowing much. I've done my very best to come to conclusions by studying and observing and participating. And, I just really want to understand, and it's been driving me all this world, this more than, I don't know, more than 60 years. So one of the things that evidence shows is that we human beings have some experiential tendencies, and one of them, just to experience some things as better and some things as worse. We're not identical to one another, but there's definitely a big human core way of being. Another one is that it is widespread among a human population, maybe not a majority, but a substantial number, large fraction of humanity in the course of their lives will have some spiritually transformative experience. And I don't know whether the others have that capacity, but just life doesn't take them to a circumstance for it, or if it's just something that's in that capacity being in the human genome in a irregular, patchy kind of way. And I've been interested in these things. Those two actually are quite important, because the better and worse way we experience things really should change the way the secular worldview thinks about right and wrong, good and evil, the good and evil, let's just say. The secular worldview doesn't regard those things as all that real. It's a matter of opinion. It's merely subjective. Anyway, I've got plenty of experience dealing with liberal America, parts of it that think that way, and I think that has played a role in why liberal America hasn't done a better job in the past generation to defend American democracy against the force of fascism that's been rising on the right and that we're having a showdown with right now. So I think it matters. Similarly, the spiritual dimension, there's reason to believe that it is built into us that at least some of us are going to have the capacity to have a special kind of experience with it. It's very impactful and delivers spiritual truths and stuff like that because you see it all over the place. And that's important too. And those two together, I think suffice to require the secular worldview to recognize that the moral dimension and the spiritual dimension are real, important, and life-serving. Now, the life-serving thing is the one that's kind of fun to explore because, anyway, fun for me. I like a certain elegance in a theory. Like I just love Darwin's, multitude of organisms produced, variation in the multitude. Not all survive. It's not random which ones survive. Anyway, you end up with natural selection. Anyway, here you got. If we agree that there are certain things in the human experiential realm, and I'm going to add to what we've already talked about, the moral and the dimension. I'm going to add like humor and music, and finding things interesting. So if we agree that they're there, we can draw some inferences from that evidence. First, I'm going to resume this in just a moment, hoping for